John Hale never thought a simple medical checkup would change his life. He was just another pilot working for the United Terran Fleet, a man who had seen hundreds of spaceports, thousands of planets, and even more regulations. The Galactic Coalition required all human pilots to pass a health scan every 6 months. It was supposed to be routine, boring, and quick. That morning, his ship, the Artemis Runner, had docked at the Thesari Medical Orbital, a large silver station floating above the blue clouds of planet Lysara. The station was run entirely by the Thesari, tall, crystal-skinned aliens known for their intelligence and calm behavior. Their voices were soft, almost like music, and their glowing eyes reflected data as they spoke. John didn't trust them much. They were polite, yes, but too quiet, too precise. He missed the noisy, messy way humans worked. Still, he followed the rules. He walked down the shining white hallway, his boots echoing softly. The air smelled of ozone and sterilizers. Machines hummed around him. Everything felt too clean, too controlled. When he reached the examination chamber, an alien nurse greeted him. Her name was Velthara. Her glass-like skin shimmered under the lights, and her movements were smooth, almost robotic. She had 4 thin arms, each one working in perfect sync. Her face had no mouth, but a soft blue light pulsed where her voice came from. "Pilot Hale," she said gently, "your scheduled checkup will begin now. Please remain calm. You may experience mild dizziness during the scan." John nodded, though he was already tired of the process. "Yeah, sure. Let's get this over with. I've got a shipment waiting." She motioned him toward a scanning platform. A ring of silver light passed slowly over his body. The instruments around him clicked and whirred. It all felt normal, until one of the screens suddenly flashed red. Velthara froze. For a second, she didn't move at all. Her glowing eyes blinked rapidly as if processing data faster than she could handle. John frowned. Is something wrong?" The nurse didn't answer. She tapped the panel again, then again. Her calm voice wavered slightly. "Strange. Please stay still, Pilot Hale. I need to rerun the scan." The red light flickered across the room again. More symbols appeared on her screen, written in a language John couldn't read. He recognized only a few galactic symbols: anomaly detected, restricted data, and override pending. John's nerves began to tighten. "What's going on?" he asked, trying to sound casual. Velthara finally looked at him. Her voice was lower this time, almost unsure. "I am not authorized to discuss your results. Please wait here." Before he could say another word, she turned and glided out of the room, her thin legs barely touching the floor. The door slid shut behind her with a quiet hiss. John was alone. He looked around the sterile chamber. The walls had no seams, the corners no shadows. It was the kind of place designed to make a person feel small and powerless. He rubbed the back of his neck and muttered, "Just great. Probably another scanner glitch." But deep inside, something didn't feel right. He had been through hundreds of checkups before. No one had ever walked out mid-scan. Minutes turned into half an hour. When Velthara returned, she wasn't alone. A taller, older Thesari followed her, wearing a white coat covered in glowing threads of light. His eyes were brighter than hers, a sign of higher rank. "Pilot John Hale," the elder said. His tone was calm but carried authority. "I am Chief Xenobiologist Dr. Reshetel. Your examination has revealed unexpected results." John tried to smile, though his voice came out uneasy. "Unexpected how? Did I eat something bad?" The alien didn't react. "Your results have been transferred to a secure Coalition server. For now, we need to run additional tests. You are to remain on this station for observation." John blinked. "Wait, what? Observation? For how long?" "Until further notice," Dr. Reshetel replied simply. That didn't sound like good news. John crossed his arms. "I have a job to do. You can't just hold me here because your machines are confused." The alien tilted his head slightly, a gesture that might have been sympathy or annoyance. "It is not confusion, human. It is protocol. Please cooperate." Velthara looked at John for a brief second, and he thought he saw something in her expression, a flicker of concern. But before he could ask her anything, they left again. The door sealed shut behind them with a quiet click. John let out a long breath and sat down on the edge of the platform. His thoughts raced. What could possibly be unexpected in his scan? He wasn't sick. He hadn't been injured. The only odd thing that had happened recently was his last cargo mission, a route near the dying star Korvath 7. The radiation storm there had knocked out his ship's shields for a few minutes. But the med scanners had cleared him afterward. He shook his head. Nah, he whispered. Couldn't be that. After a while, a soft light blinked on the wall. The intercom. Velthara's voice echoed softly. Pilot Hale, please lie down on the examination bed. A secondary analysis will begin shortly. John frowned but obeyed. A small device floated out of the wall and hovered over his chest. A thin blue beam traced patterns across his skin. He didn't feel pain, just a strange warmth, almost like sunlight. As he lay there, he noticed the beam was mapping not just his body but the air around him, like it was searching for something invisible. Then came the whisper. Not from the intercom, not from Velthara. It came from somewhere inside his head. John Hale, the voice said quietly. It wasn't human, but it wasn't alien either. It was something in between, distant yet clear. You have been changed. He sat up quickly, eyes wide. The hovering scanner retreated at once, as if startled. What the? He began, but the intercom cut in again. Please remain calm, Velthara's voice said. The process is almost complete. Process? John repeated, heart pounding. He swung his legs off the bed. What process? The door opened again and Velthara entered, this time without her usual calm. You must not leave this room, she said quickly. You are being transferred to a secured sector. John took a step back. Secured? Why? I came here for a checkup. Velthara's eyes glowed brighter. Because your body is producing unknown energy signatures. Your biology is changing. John froze. Changing? Into what? I do not know, she whispered. That is why you have been classified as a confidential case file. For a moment, the world seemed to stop. The hum of machines faded. The walls felt closer. John could only stare at her glowing eyes, trying to understand what she had just said. He was a pilot, not a scientist. He hauled goods between stars. He didn't change. But when he looked down, he noticed something he hadn't before. The skin on his hands was faintly glowing, just barely, like a soft pulse under the surface. He touched his wrist and felt warmth spreading through his veins. Velthara saw it too. It has already begun, she whispered. John stepped back. You need to fix this. Her voice turned almost human in tone, sad, uncertain. We cannot fix what we do not understand. Before he could speak again, 2 security drones entered the room. They hovered beside her, cold metal spheres with blinking eyes. Velthara looked at him one last time. Please do not resist. It is for your safety. John raised his hand slowly, still staring at the faint glow spreading across his fingers. Yeah, he said quietly. That's what everyone says. Before they lock you away, the drones moved closer. The lights dimmed, and as the door sealed shut once more, John Hale realized that his routine checkup was over, and his real story had just begun. John Hale woke up to the soft humming of machines. The ceiling above him glowed with dim blue light, and the air smelled faintly of metal and medicine. For a moment he didn't remember where he was, and then it all came back in a rush. The red scan light, the nurse's alarmed face, the security drones, the word confidential. He sat up quickly. His wrists were free, but the door to the room had no handle. The walls were smooth, shining like glass. It was not the same examination chamber as before. This one was smaller, colder, and completely sealed. John tried to calm himself. Okay, he muttered. It's just a mistake. They'll realize it soon. But the faint glow beneath his skin told him otherwise. His veins pulsed with a soft blue light that faded and returned like slow breathing. He rubbed his hands, trying to make it stop, but the glow only spread to his fingertips. A voice echoed through the wall. Pilot Hale, please remain seated. The medical director will see you shortly. He recognized the voice, Velthara. But it was different now. Distant. Controlled. Velthara, he called out. You can't keep me locked up like this. I'm a human citizen under coalition law. I know my rights. There was silence for a long moment. Then her voice returned, quieter. Your case is beyond my authority now, Pilot Hale. Please understand. This is for your safety and the safety of others. Safety? John snapped. You mean your government doesn't know what's happening, so you throw me in a glass box? No reply came this time. Only the hum of machines and the faint sound of footsteps outside. Hours passed before the door finally slid open. 2 Thessari guards entered, their armor shining under the lights. Behind them came Dr. Reshetal, the same xenobiologist who had spoken to John before. The alien's glowing eyes regarded him carefully. Pilot Hale, he began in that calm, emotionless tone. Thank you for your patience. We have analyzed your biodata. The results are unusual. John crossed his arms. You don't say. Reshital ignored the sarcasm. Your body is producing a type of energy that we have never observed in humans. It is self-sustaining and appears to interact with your nervous system. You are changing at a molecular level. John frowned. Changing how? Your cells are repairing themselves faster than they should. Your blood carries particles we cannot classify. Your heartbeat fluctuates between human normal and something else. It is as if your biology is rewriting its own rules. John stared at him. That's impossible. The alien tilted his head slightly. Perhaps. But the evidence says otherwise. He activated a projection in the air, a holographic image of John's body. The outline shimmered with light. Inside, small glowing threads moved through his veins like streams of electricity. Is that me? John asked quietly. Yes, Reshital said. This is live data. You are adapting. The last time we saw similar patterns was in ancient ruins belonging to the lost civilization known as the Ancients. Their energy signatures match yours by 43%. John blinked. Ancients? You mean those myths? The ones who built the jump gates thousands of years ago? The alien nodded. They disappeared long before any of our recorded history. No one knows why, but their energy is still studied by every major species. If humans are now showing traces of it— He paused, then finished softly. It could change everything. John rubbed his forehead. I'm not some science experiment. I'm just a pilot. Reshital's eyes dimmed slightly. You are no longer just that. For now you will remain under medical supervision. John's patience snapped. I'm not staying here forever. The guards raised their weapons, but the scientist lifted a hand to stop them. Do not threaten him. He is not a prisoner, yet, John repeated sharply. Reshital ignored him and turned toward the exit. Prepare for the second stage analysis, he told Velthara, who had silently entered the room behind him. She nodded, though her expression, if it could be called that, seemed tense. When the others left, she lingered for a few seconds. Velthara, John said quickly. Tell me what's really going on. She looked at him and her eyes flickered a softer shade of blue. Your file has been sealed under Coalition Code Black, she said quietly. Only the highest level of command can access it. John frowned. Code Black? What does that mean? It is used only for 2 reasons, she whispered. When a discovery is too dangerous to share, or too valuable to lose. John felt a chill run down his spine. And which one am I? Velthara hesitated. I do not know. She stepped closer and lowered her voice. I believe your change is linked to radiation exposure from your last mission near Korvath 7. That star's collapse released energy we cannot reproduce. Perhaps it awakened something hidden in your DNA. Hidden? John echoed. You mean humans have something inside us that can change? Every species carries mysteries within, she replied softly. But your kind adapts faster than most. You survive what others cannot. Her tone was almost admiring. For a moment, John saw something human in her mechanical calm, curiosity, even respect. Before he could say more, the lights in the room dimmed, and an alarm flashed red across the walls. Velthara straightened instantly. Security breach in Data Chamber 3, a robotic voice announced. Unauthorized access detected. Velthara turned sharply toward John. Stay here, she ordered, then ran out as the door closed behind her. John didn't plan to wait. He had spent too many years hauling cargo through pirate zones to sit quietly when things went wrong. He looked around the room for anything useful, a panel, a vent, anything. That's when he noticed the holographic console by the wall. It was still active, showing his scan data. He reached toward it. To his surprise, the screen reacted, not to his touch, but to the glow under his skin. The symbols shifted, forming patterns that pulsed in rhythm with his heartbeat. What in the world? He murmured. Without meaning to, he triggered a command. The door made a soft click. It didn't open completely, but the lock light turned green. He stepped back, amazed. Did I just— Before he could finish, Velthara returned, her movements hurried. She saw the unlocked door and froze. You should not have done that, she said sharply. John raised his hands. I didn't even know I could. She looked at his glowing fingers, then at the console. Her voice lowered. You are connecting to systems through bioenergy. No one can do that without neural implants. Yet you did it naturally. John sighed. Great. So now I'm glowing, breaking computers, and stuck in a hospital cell. Fantastic. Velthara ignored his sarcasm. She closed the door again and spoke softly. If the Council learns you can interface with technology, they will never let you go. John stared at her. Why? What do they think I am? She met his eyes. They think you might be the key to the power the ancients used. And if they cannot understand it, they will keep you until they do. John's stomach tightened. He knew what that meant. Permanent confinement. He had heard stories about beings who vanished into Coalition labs, never seen again. Velthara leaned closer, lowering her voice until it was almost a whisper. Listen carefully, John Hale. I will try to learn more about the other humans who disappeared after similar scans. There were 3 cases before you. All were taken under Code Black. John felt his pulse quicken. So I'm not the first? She shook her head. No, but you might be the last if they realize how fast your condition is evolving. Then help me, John said quietly. Please, I can't stay here. Velthara hesitated, her glowing eyes flickering rapidly, a sign of conflict. If I help you, it will end my career. Perhaps my life. John nodded slowly. Then don't do it for me. Do it because someone has to know what they're hiding. For a long moment, neither spoke. Then finally, Velthara said softly, Very well. But you must trust me. She turned toward the console, pressing a sequence of commands that John couldn't follow. The next scan will begin tomorrow. During that time, I will copy the hidden files from the Coalition server. If I succeed, we may discover the truth. John exhaled with relief, though fear still burned inside him. And if you don't? Velthara looked back at him, her glowing eyes steady. Then you will never leave this station. The lights dimmed again as the machines powered down for the night cycle. John lay on the narrow bed, staring at the ceiling. The faint glow under his skin pulsed like a heartbeat, a reminder that whatever was happening inside him was not slowing down. Outside the sealed room, the stars of Lysara shone quietly. Somewhere beyond them, the truth waited, hidden behind locked files and ancient secrets. And John Hale, once just a cargo pilot, had become the most classified being in the galaxy. John Hale didn't sleep that night. He lay on the narrow bed, staring at the soft blue light pulsing under his skin. It wasn't painful, just strange. Every few seconds, his veins glowed faintly and faded again, like waves of quiet energy moving through him. His thoughts were restless. He wasn't afraid of space storms or alien pirates, but being locked in a silent white room made him feel trapped. He kept replaying Velthara's words in his mind. You are changing. He didn't want to change. He wanted his old life back, flying cargo ships, joking with crewmates, watching the stars through his cockpit window. But deep inside, a quiet voice whispered that his old life was already gone. Just before the lights dimmed for the station's night cycle, Velthara had promised to look for information about the other missing humans. John didn't know if he could trust her completely, but she was his only hope. Hours later, the door slid open. John sat up instantly. Velthara entered, moving quickly and quietly. Her glowing eyes were dimmer than usual, a sign of exhaustion. Did you find anything? John asked immediately. Yes, she said softly. But we must speak quickly. The surveillance systems will record sound after 3 minutes. John leaned forward. Tell me. Velthara projected a small hologram from a data crystal she carried. 3 faces appeared, and all human. 2 men, 1 woman. These are the others, she said. All were Terran fleet members. All came for routine checkups at Coalition facilities. Each showed the same bioenergy signature you now have. John studied the faces. He didn't recognize any of them. What happened to them? Her voice grew quiet. They were transferred to a research base on the planet Corin 9. That is a restricted world. No communication leaves that system. After that, no further records. John's heart sank. You mean they disappeared? Velthara nodded slowly. Yes, and the Coalition erased all files linking them to their homeworlds. To the galaxy, they never existed. He clenched his fists. The glow under his skin flared slightly. So that's what they plan to do to me, too? I believe so, she admitted. But your case is different. Your adaptation rate is faster. You have already begun influencing technology without implants. That has never happened before. John gave a humorless laugh. Great. So I'm a walking science experiment? Velthara looked uneasy. You may be something more than that. I studied your energy pattern carefully. It matches an ancient frequency, one recorded only in ruins built by the lost civilization of the ancients. The same energy they used to shape matter and bend reality. John frowned. I don't want to bend reality. I just want out of this cage. I understand, Velthara said. And I think I can help you. But it will not be easy. She walked to the corner of the room and pressed a hidden control. A section of the wall shimmered and revealed a small maintenance panel. This leads to a secondary access tunnel, she explained. If we can reach the communication hub, we can transmit your medical data to the Terran government. Once Earth knows what the Coalition is doing, they will demand answers. John shook his head. You're willing to risk everything for me? Why? Velthara hesitated. Her glowing eyes flickered softly. Because I believe in truth. My people value logic above all things. But you humans, you value freedom. You fight for it, even when the odds are impossible. Perhaps that is why your kind keeps surviving what others cannot. Her words surprised him. For the first time since his capture, he saw real emotion in her. Quiet admiration. Before John could answer, the lights in the room flashed red again. A warning tone filled the air. Velthara's calm voice turned sharp. They know I accessed restricted data. Security will come soon. Then we move now, John said firmly. Velthara nodded. She handed him a small metal disc. This will disrupt cameras for 90 seconds. After that, they will track us again. John took it and pressed the activation switch. The device hummed softly and the room lights flickered. Go, she said, opening the panel. John crawled through first, pulling himself into the narrow metallic tunnel. The air was warm, filled with the faint hum of energy lines. Velthara followed, moving gracefully even in the tight space. As they crawled forward, John whispered, How far to the communication hub? 200 meters, she replied. But security drones patrol the corridors. We must stay silent. They moved slowly through the dark passage. Every few meters, John could hear the vibration of machinery, the beating heart of the massive station. He had been in worse places before, smuggling goods through asteroid belts, but this felt different. This was a fight for his freedom, not just survival. At one point, Velthara stopped and touched the wall. There is a patrol ahead, she whispered. Wait, they listened. The faint sound of hovering drones passed by, their sensors scanning the area. After a tense minute, the noise faded. Clear, she said softly. They kept going until they reached a metal grate. Beyond it, John could see a large room filled with consoles and glowing screens. The communication hub. Velthara used a small tool to unlock the grate. They slipped inside quietly. Stay close, she said, walking toward one of the control stations. Her many hands moved quickly, connecting data cables and typing alien commands. John stood guard near the door, his senses sharp. His body felt strange again, stronger, more alert. Every sound, every vibration in the air seemed sharper. Velthara uploaded a data packet into the system. This will send your records directly to Earth Command, she explained. But once it's transmitted, the Coalition will know. Then we'd better make it fast, John said. She nodded and pressed the final command. The screen flashed and a small progress bar appeared. Transmitting 28% at that moment, the alarms roared to life again. Velthara looked up. They are here. John turned toward the corridor as the door slid open. 3 security drones hovered inside, their sensors glowing red. Without thinking, John raised his hand, and the lights in the room exploded with brightness. A wave of energy burst from him, rippling through the air. The drones froze mid-flight, their circuits sparking. Velthara shielded her eyes from the light. John! What did you do? I don't know, he shouted. The drones fell to the floor, smoking. The air crackled with static. The progress bar reached 100% and the system beeped softly. Transmission complete. Velthara stared at him in shock. You generated an electromagnetic pulse strong enough to disable their systems. That is impossible for a biological being. John took a shaky breath. Guess I'm full of surprises. The hallway lights began to flicker as more drones approached. Velthara grabbed his arm. We must go. The data has been sent, but now we must survive long enough for it to matter. They ran toward the maintenance tunnel again, alarms echoing behind them. The corridor lights turned red as a voice boomed over the speakers. Security alert. Unauthorized transmission detected. Lockdown initiated. Doors began sealing one by one. John sprinted faster, his heart pounding. The glow under his skin brightened with every step, almost guiding his way through the dark. They barely made it through the last open passage before it slammed shut behind them. Velthara looked at him, her voice breathless, though she didn't need air. You are not just adapting, John Hale, you are evolving. He leaned against the wall, trying to catch his breath. If this is evolution, it hurts. Despite the danger, Velthara almost smiled, or whatever her kind's version of smiling was. "Pain is part of growth," she said softly. John looked at her, his glowing hands trembling slightly. "So what happens now?" She glanced down the corridor toward the emergency escape pods. "Now we find a way off this station. The Coalition will not stop until they capture you again. But the humans on Earth now know the truth. You are no longer just a pilot, John Hale. You are living proof that humanity carries something ancient, something powerful." John nodded slowly, his determination returning. "Then let's make sure they don't bury that truth again." Together, they disappeared into the dark tunnel as alarms echoed across the station. Two fugitives against an entire galaxy. And for the first time, John felt something new in his chest, and not fear but strength. The kind of strength that only humans seem to have when the universe pushed them too far. John Hale could feel the tension in the air like a storm waiting to break. The cold metal walls of the Coalition medical base seemed to close in on him as he stood beside Velthara. Her glassy eyes flickered with strange lights, signals of fear and decision. For the first time, the alien nurse looked uncertain. "John," she said softly, "if we are to escape, we must act now. The Coalition has issued new orders. You are to be transferred to an off-record facility. No one will ever see you again." Her words hit him like a shockwave. John had expected trouble, but not this. "You mean they're going to hide me away? Like I'm some dangerous weapon?" he asked, his voice low and sharp. Velthara nodded. "They do not understand you. And what they cannot understand, they control." That was enough for John. He wasn't going to let anyone lock him up for being human. They moved quickly through the dimly lit corridors. Velthara's hands glowed faint blue as she manipulated security panels and override codes. Each time she touched a console, the walls hummed quietly and locks disengaged. John followed close behind, scanning every turn. The base was eerily silent, but he knew they were being watched. Cameras lined the ceilings, their red lights blinking like small eyes. As they passed the observation hall, John caught sight of something through the glass. His own medical scans displayed across a dozen screens. One image showed his body glowing with faint energy lines like a living circuit. Another displayed graphs showing rapid growth in his cell regeneration. He looked like something between man and myth. Velthara paused. "Do you see now?" she whispered. "Your body is adapting faster than any known organism. You are not just human anymore, you are evolving." John frowned. "I don't feel evolved. I just feel trapped." But deep inside, he knew something had changed. Ever since the experiments began, his senses were sharper. He could hear the hum of distant generators, feel the pulse of electricity in the walls, and even sense Velthara's hesitation before she spoke. It was like his body had become part of the ship itself. The alarm suddenly blared, a deep, echoing sound that shook the floor. Velthara froze, her eyes flashing yellow. "They know," she said. "The system detected my override." Within seconds, metallic drones rolled into the hall, their scanners glowing red. They extended energy weapons surrounding the pair. "John, stay behind me," Velthara shouted, but John didn't listen. Instinct took over. The drones fired, and before he could think, his hands moved. Faster than human reflex should allow. A bright pulse of energy burst from his palms, rippling through the air like invisible lightning. The drones flickered, sparked, and collapsed to the floor, their lights dimming. Velthara's eyes widened. "That was not technology," she said in disbelief. "That was you." John looked down at his hands. They were shaking, faintly glowing with the same energy that had appeared in his scans. "I didn't even think," he said. "It just happened." "You are becoming something the galaxy has never seen," Velthara murmured. "That is why they fear you." They rushed down the hallways, passing through labs filled with alien machines and sealed tanks. Inside some of them, John saw strange creatures, half biological, half synthetic. Failed experiments that reminded him how close he might have come to sharing their fate. Finally, they reached the docking sector. Through the wide windows, John could see the black stretch of space, dotted with the bright curve of a nearby planet. His ship, the Starhawk, was parked 2 bays away, still under maintenance. Velthara began typing rapidly into the security terminal. "The bay doors are locked with council authorization," she said. "I can open them, but it will take a few minutes." "Minutes we don't have," John said, glancing toward the far end of the hall. A squad of armored guards appeared, moving quickly in formation. Their weapons gleamed in the light. "Then hold them," Velthara said calmly. I will finish the override. John stood between her and the approaching guards. The first warning shot struck the wall beside him, leaving glowing scorch marks. He ducked behind a crate, breathing hard. His heart pounded, but something inside him pulsed stronger, like a second heartbeat made of fire. He focused. The same energy that had burst out before now answered his will. It rose through his veins like heat humming in his ears. When the guards fired again, the bolts bent in the air, deflecting away from him. Velthara turned just in time to see the energy surrounding him like a soft field of light. "You are controlling it," she said in awe. John grinned faintly. "I'm just adapting." The doors finally unlocked with a loud hiss. "Go!" Velthara shouted. They sprinted across the platform toward the Starhawk. Alarms blared across the station, and red emergency lights flashed. Drones and guards poured into the hangar. Velthara jumped into the co-pilot's seat while John powered up the ship. The engines roared to life, vibrating through the floor. "Strap in," he yelled. The ship lifted just as the hangar's containment field began to close. A heavy beam of energy struck the hull, throwing sparks across the control panels. "Shields failing," Velthara reported. "Doesn't matter," John said, gripping the controls. "We're not stopping." The Starhawk blasted forward, smashing through the field barrier. For a moment, the hull screamed under the pressure. Then they were free, sailing into the darkness of space. Behind them, the medical station shrank into a distant dot. For several minutes, neither spoke. The stars stretched across the viewport like scattered diamonds. Finally, Velthara broke the silence. "You realize what this means," she said softly. "The Coalition will hunt you. You have defied their orders, escaped their station, and exposed secrets they meant to bury forever." John leaned back, catching his breath. "Then let them hunt," he said. "They can classify me, chase me, or study me, but they'll never cage me again." Velthara hesitated, then handed him a small data crystal. "Before we left, I uploaded the truth. I know all of it. The human experiments, the other missing Terrans, the data on your evolution. I sent it to the Coalition Public Archives. By now, every world will know." John looked at her, surprised. "You risked your life for this." She smiled faintly. The closest a Thesari could come to a human smile. Perhaps humans are not the only ones capable of change. Suddenly, the ship's scanner beeped. Several signatures appeared behind them. Coalition interceptors. Fast and armed, John's mind raced. He was low on shields with no jump coordinates set. They couldn't outrun the interceptors, not normally. But then he remembered what happened with the drones. He could feel the energy inside him again, like a storm waiting to be released. "Velthara," he said, "take the controls."
"Keep us steady. What are you doing?"
she asked, alarmed. "Trust me." He stood near the ship's power conduit and placed both hands on the glowing surface. For a moment, the air shimmered. Energy flowed from his body into the ship, merging with its systems. The lights brightened, the engine screamed louder, and the Starhawk leapt forward faster than ever before. Faster than physics should have allowed. The interceptors vanished behind them, lost in the blur of light. Minutes later, the ship slowed to normal speed near an uncharted asteroid belt. Velthara looked at him in silent wonder. "You just fused with the ship," she said. "Your energy synchronized with the reactor." "No human could do that," John smiled, exhausted but alive. "Guess no one told my biology that." She looked out the viewport, watching the stars fade into the black. "They will call you dangerous," she said. "They will call you impossible." "Let them," John replied. "I'm done being their file. From now on, I decide what humanity means." Velthara nodded. "Then perhaps it is time humanity learned what it truly is capable of." John turned his gaze toward the distant glow of Earth. "Yeah," he said quietly. "It's time we show them." The stars reflected in his eyes, burning bright, like a promise that the galaxy could never cage the human spirit again. John Hale sat in the cockpit of the Starhawk, staring at the distant blue-green glow of Earth. After weeks of evading Coalition patrols, navigating uncharted sectors, and learning the limits of his newfound abilities, he finally felt a spark of hope. For the first time since the routine checkup that changed his life, he felt the possibility of home. Velthara sat beside him, scanning the ship's instruments with calm precision. She had changed too, softer, more human in her movements. Her eyes glowed faintly, reflecting pride and awe. "You really think Earth will help?" John asked quietly. "I hope so," she replied. "The data I sent during our escape revealed the truth about the missing humans and your evolving biology. Earth Command has it now. They cannot ignore it," John nodded. I just hope they act before the Coalition does. If they think I'm a weapon, Velthara shook her head. They will see you as proof that humans can survive, adapt, and evolve in ways the galaxy has never seen. That is your strength. John looked at his glowing hands, the faint energy still pulsing through his veins. He could feel it in every fiber of his being, a power that was human and yet something more. As the ship entered Earth's orbital space, communication channels opened automatically. A voice greeted them from the command station. Starhawk, identify yourself. This is Earth Orbital Defense. You are entering restricted airspace. John pressed the transmit button. This is Captain John Hale of the United Terran Fleet. I am carrying urgent data regarding Coalition operations and classified human research. I request immediate clearance. There was a pause, then the voice spoke again, more carefully this time. Captain Hale, we are aware of your transmission. We have received your data. You are cleared to dock at Earth Defense Command. John exhaled, relief flooding him. He glanced at Velthara. Looks like we made it. She nodded, though her eyes betrayed caution. The Coalition will not give up easily. We must remain vigilant. Docking at the orbital station was tense. John could feel the eyes of human security personnel on him as he guided the Starhawk into the bay. His glowing hands were still visible under the dim lights, and whispers spread quickly among the crew. As soon as the ship touched down, a team of officers boarded. Captain Hale stepped forward, holding his hands up. I am not here to fight. I am here to show the truth. The lead officer, Commander Rhea, studied him carefully. The Coalition has been covering up human experiments, John said firmly. They've taken our people, studied us, and classified us as unknown threats. I am one of the survivors. Rhea's eyes widened. Survivors? John nodded. 3 others disappeared before me. I have proof. I've uploaded all data from the Coalition servers to your systems. Humanity has potential the galaxy never expected, Velthara added. His biology has evolved. He can interface with technology, generate energy pulses, and adapt at rates previously thought impossible. Your species has reached a new level. The officers exchanged stunned glances. Some whispered. Some pulled up holographic displays of John's scans. The glow of his internal energy pulsed across the screens. Commander Rhea stepped forward. Captain Hale, if this is true, we must act carefully. This could change everything. Our technology, our defenses, even our place in the galaxy. John looked out the viewport at Earth below. It's more than that. The Coalition wants to hide humanity. They don't want anyone to know what we're capable of. But we're not meant to fit in their files. We're meant to survive, to grow, to lead. Velthara's voice was soft but firm. He speaks the truth. You have never seen humans like this because you have never pushed them to the edge. But now the galaxy will see. Rhea's hand hovered over her console. Then we must act fast. If the Coalition learns you are here, they may send forces immediately. John grinned faintly. Let them come. If they want to see what humans can do, we'll give them a demonstration they won't forget. Over the next few days, John underwent a series of tests on Earth. Scientists and medical officers observed his biology carefully. Velthara helped guide them, explaining how his energy interacted with machines and how his cells adapted faster than any known organism. What astounded the humans most was his ability to interface with technology. Using nothing but his mind, John could connect to complex systems, analyze them, and even repair damaged circuits. When a simulation tested his strength, he generated controlled energy pulses that could temporarily disable machines without harming humans. But it wasn't just science that amazed everyone. John's presence inspired them. Officers, scientists, and engineers watched in awe as one human, demonstrated courage, intelligence, and adaptability far beyond expectations. Rhea looked at him one evening. After all the formalities, Captain Hale, you've done more than survive. You've reminded us what humanity is capable of. John nodded. We've always had the potential. Most of the galaxy never believed it. They tried to classify us, control us, even erase us, but we're still here, and now it's our choice what we do next. Velthara's glowing eyes reflected the room's soft light. And now, your species can write its own story. The Coalition did not wait long. Reports of John's arrival reached their fleets within hours. A dozen interceptor ships moved toward Earth, armed with advanced energy weapons. But humanity was ready. Using John's abilities, the Terran Defense Force coordinated a response like never before. John connected to their systems, guided ships, calculated trajectories, and amplified shields with bursts of bioenergy. Every attack the Coalition launched was anticipated and neutralized. During the confrontation, John stepped onto the bridge of the lead human cruiser, his energy flaring brightly. "Show them what humans can do," he said quietly, and humanity did. Interceptors faltered before coordinated defenses. Coalition ships backed away, stunned by the display of power. Across the galaxy, news spread of the human who had returned from a classified file. Alive, unbroken and stronger than any enemy had imagined. After the battle, John stood on the observation deck of the Earth Orbital Command, looking at the stars. Velthara joined him silently. "They will try again," she said softly. "The galaxy will always test humanity." John nodded. "And we will always rise. Not because we have to, but because we can, because that's who we are." She looked at him, admiration shining through her glowing eyes. "You have shown them that humanity is not just another species. You have made us all believe in the impossible." John smiled faintly. "No, Velthara. Humans have always been capable. They just needed a reason to remember it." Below, Earth spun silently in the void, a fragile blue and green sphere holding a species that had once been underestimated, and nearly erased. Now the galaxy knew. Humanity was not to be ignored. John Hale raised his hand, and for a moment the faint glow of energy coursed through him like a pulse of the planet itself. The stars reflected in his eyes, burning bright with the promise of discovery, courage, and survival. Across the galaxy, whispers began. The humans were not weak. They were evolving, adapting, and ready to claim their place among the stars. No file could contain them. No classification could define them. Humanity had been tested, and humanity had won. John Hale smiled as Velthara stood beside him. "We're just getting started," he said. She nodded. "The galaxy will never forget you, or your kind." And for the first time in centuries, humanity stepped into the light, no longer a subject of study, no longer a footnote in alien records, but a force that the galaxy would have to respect. The stars burned brighter, and so did the human spirit.